Now, today marks the third anniversary of Sir Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party. But how well has he done?
Well, polling by YouGov has found that almost a half of voters say he has failed to set out a clear vision. Well, let's speak now to Shadow Minister for Policing, Sarah Jones. Good morning to you, Sarah. Really good to have you with us on the programme. I know you're going to be speaking to us shortly about your anti-social behaviour plan, and that is, of course, very important. But this poll we wanted to touch on first, which is, of course, due out at the same time as the third-year anniversary of Keir Starmer becoming leader of the Labour Party and your leader as well. But it's not good reading, is it? Half of the respondents say that he lacks vision. He seems uninspiring. Does your leader inspire you?
He does. I mean, if anybody had said to me the day after the 2019 election that we would be where we are now with a really good chance of persuading the public that we are worthy of voting for again, then I would have laughed, and I think everybody would have done. Where we've come in terms of the journey that Keir Starmer has led us as a party, in terms of tackling anti-Semitism, in terms of exposing the Conservatives for the 13 years of failure that we've seen, and now beginning to set out our mission. But you're right, we've got more to do. We have to make the case to the country that Britain can be better than this, that things don't have to break down all the time, that things can be fixed, that we can have a stronger economy, and that our future should be bright, and it's our job to do that. And that's why, I'm working on policing. I'm talking about having more police in our neighbourhoods, because I think we can tackle crime and we can tackle antisocial behaviour, and it's not good enough that the government hasn't, but we've got to make that case.
One of the criticisms of Keir Starmer is he's had more positions than the Kama Sutra on things like Brexit, on hard borders, on the union flag, on trans issues. Is him flip-flopping deliberate? What I mean by that is him appearing to be all things to all man part of his strategy?
Look, I was one of the first MPs to come out publicly and support Keir Starmer when he stood for leader, because his values are absolutely clear. He loves his country, and he wants our society to be better and to do better. A strong economy, a strong NHS, and people feeling safe. His record as the Director of Public Prosecutions, where he was locking up criminals time and time and time again, speaks for itself. Now, we've come a long way since he became leader. A lot has happened in that time. The economy tanked last year. We need to look at our priorities in a different way and what's affordable. We want to spend taxpayers' money properly. So we have to live in the climate that we find ourselves in. But his values are clear, and I think people are beginning to see that, yeah, he could be a Prime Minister. And actually, he'd be a good Prime Minister, because he knows what he believes, he's got values, he's got a plan, and it's for me and all the rest of his team to go out and talk to you and talk to the rest of the country about what those plans are.
OK, well, the government announced its anti-social behaviour action plan last week. Now, Labour and yourself, you are here to announce yours. You're pledging more bobbies on the beat. So tell us, how is this different to the government's plan? Because they've suggested something similar, increasing police presence in crime hotspots.
So the government's plan contains several policies that we'd announced several months previously, so they're catching up on this one. They've called antisocial behaviour low-level crime. They've not given it a second thought for the last 13 years. Labour would put it front and centre of what we do, and what's different about what Labour is saying is we will physically put more police in our neighbourhoods. 13,000 more police and PCSOs in our neighbourhoods. At the moment, there's 10,000 fewer than we had in 2015 on our streets. And it's important not just for the reassurance that we all get when we see police officers on our streets, but they can prevent crime, they can understand their communities, they can know what's happening, and they can stop crime from starting in the first place. So we want a guarantee that you'll have police in your neighbourhood. They'll be named police officers and PCSOs, so you'll know who they are, you can get in touch with them, and they will be there patrolling our streets. Our town centres as well is a real problem. If you look at the criminal damage stats, they are off the scale awful in terms of any kind of prosecution rates, and also the increasing number of crimes in our town centres. So we have to have our police there, but also more powers. We've suggested respect orders, which is a kind of modern antisocial behaviour order that will be tougher and stronger at tackling those repeat offenders.
OK, Sarah, 13,000 extra coppers, a very laudable aim. Everybody would like that. Can you tell us how much that's going to cost, please, and where's the money coming from?
So £370 million, and we're getting that from putting our procurement together. At the moment, all the 43 different police forces across the country, they all buy their own cars, they buy their own uniforms, they have their own IT systems, they have their own HR systems. If we pool that, we can save hundreds of millions of pounds. We've said 370 million. Police Foundation think it's much higher than that, but we're trying to be conservative because we want to be as cautious as we can, because taxpayers' money is precious. We want to spend it wisely.
Well, I did my own maths before you came on air, and your figure, I think, is a little bit low, but well done. Wasn't quite as chaotic as Diane Abbott's attempt to price up policing before. So you obviously were briefed on this interview beforehand. Well done to your staff on that matter. But this is a lot of money. A lot of money. Labour have had a historic reputation as being tax them high, hang them out to dry. Is that the route you're going down? Just more taxes to squeeze money dry out of the taxpayer to pay for your projects?
Absolutely not. Of course not. We want to be careful with people's money. You wouldn't believe the amount of money that has been wasted by this government in policing, whether it's on procurement or on those shared services. There's an IT system which is £5 billion overspent in the Home Office. I mean, that money could have bought you a lot of police officers. We want to be careful with people's money. We're being really clear how we're going to tax. We're going to have a fairer tax system. We've set out how we want to get rid of that non-dom status. We want to sort out VAT on private schools. We're setting out as we go along how we're going to raise the money and what we're going to do with it, because we want to be responsible with taxpayers' money.
Sarah, I just want to pick you up on when you said that this was a modern version of an ASBO, because they were actually done away with by the government here in England, in Wales and in Northern Ireland as well, because they say breach rates are high, and the number issued have been steadily declining since 2005. So why would you want to bring in a modern ASBO if it's seen already to have not been working?
Well, it's a better version, and it's something that fits the problems that we face today. So what we're facing today is repeat offenders. So when you get an injunction out against them, if they break that injunction, then you're criminalised at that point. So we want tough sanctions for those people that commit those offences. The government changed all the rules in 2015. They got rid of what went before. What they've introduced, things like the community trigger, nobody really knows what that is, that it's barely used. The other sanctions that they brought in have collapsed in terms of usage. There's a whole plethora of confusion about how to tackle antisocial behaviour because the government hasn't taken it seriously. So we want to shine a spotlight on this issue because it's really important. It's what affects people's everyday lives. I was in Hayward yesterday. A woman said to me, back in the day I would have reported the kids that are causing me all kinds of problems. Now I don't.